So before I begin, I just want to say a big thank you to P40F20 for giving me feedback. As you see now, I'm now using a purple towel. I used to use a towel, I just forgot to use it, but it's really handy when people are on my case and going, yeah, use the towel. I've got a new tool now. I got these baskets from my local pound store, and they're just so handy. I have these gaps underneath my drawers, which I just put the empty baskets in, and every time I need a basket I just pull it out. So for example, this one has got masking tape in. I've got another one with various bits and bobs, spare glues and things like that, and I just saw this and I thought this would be handy for when I'm working on things. I can just pop them in there. I still have my box of what I call my box of sub-assembly, so as I've been making things, I've been bagging them back up, putting them into here, and when I need them, there they are. And obviously I've got my models so far. This hasn't been attached, but you can see where it's going to go, so it's just easier just to store it there. So let's get on with the next stage before I run out of time. Well, I say run out of time, there is no time limit when you're doing part works, I don't believe, but obviously there's no point waffling on about things that are irrelevant. So I'm just getting all the parts out now. So this is stage 16, components for the mobile data terminal, wing mirrors, cab inside roof and dome lights. And let me just enlarge that on my screen so that I can see what I'm doing. So the parts that we have in this issue are, they don't number these parts, which I find interesting. It's not a major problem, but I just don't know what order to call them out in. So this is the cab inside roof, and the orientation that they have is this way round, and there's a bit of cool detail on there. Then we have got, I still am blown away by all these little bags. These bags are so useful. This is the MDT frame, mobile data terminal, I guess. So that's plastic. We've got wing mirrors left and right, well, L and R, which obviously means left and right. They're very nice actually. I guess that's the driver's side, because it's got a blind spot mirror on it, two blind spots, and then this is the passenger side. So in England these are the wrong way round, but this is an American fire truck, so obviously it's the other way round. Then we've got an MDT mobile data terminal keyboard. Quite nice actually. That could be weathered up actually. We could put a little bit of panel liner in there that'll just bring those keys out a little bit more. Just get a good focus on that. That's quite nice actually. I do like that detail. Right, so next up we have got the MDT screen. There we go. See a nice little detail around the edges. And then we've got two dome lights. Now what I'm going to opt to do, I don't know when we'll need these, but I'm going to put those back in the bag, because they are clear parts and they'll be easy to lose, and the bag is easier to locate. And then we have got two I-type screws, so I'm just going to put those straight into my little screw pot, and then we'll use them when needed. So even though you can't, well, you can see them, the screws are there. So the first thing we need to do then, we're going to need some glue, and if we need glue we need a little bit of plastic or something just to squish the glue out onto. Got my cocktail sticks, and I've got my glue. So we're going to need to apply a little glue to the base of the MDT frame, and then we're going to pop the keyboard into there. So I'm always going to do a dry fit to make sure that fits, and I would suggest, with that being fitted by two pegs and the fact that we're not going to be playing with it an awful lot, we can just apply glue just to the holes. I think that would be more than sufficient. It's quite a fairly tight fit, but I would definitely glue it because I think it could fall out. But if we apply glue there, then we're not going to get much glue squidge then, are we? And I know that there's somebody watching who's likes me using that word. So there you go, that's the keyboard on. I have changed my camera to a better camera, but it's got autofocus, and the autofocus on it isn't fantastic. So that's the keyboard fitted, and then the next thing we want to do is apply some glue along the top there, and then we're going to fix the screen in. And I can see that if you look at the shape of that and then look at the shape of the screen, you can see it goes that way round. So that's going to be nice, because what we'll do is we'll apply a little bit of glue around the middle, keep it nice and thin, spread it around if it's a bit too thick in places, like so, and then bang, straight in there. Give that a little bit of a squeeze. Yeah, that's definitely fitted. That's nice. That is rather nice. So obviously by the looks of this, whoops, I keep dropping it. So this would actually be on a hinge, so you can pull it down when not in use. So if there's any of you mod freaks out there, perhaps you could cut that and perhaps drill a little hole into each side, maybe put a bit of a slight rod in there, and then you could actually have that moving. I can't see the point because we're not going to be moving it all the time, but it's a little feature that you could do. Right, so next we want to be taking this part, and the screen is going to go, there's 2 pegs on the bottom and 2 holes, and it's either going to go that way, which that looks like that is correct, because the only other way I can fit it is that way, and that would be daft. So it's definitely going to go that way. The reason I'm querying this, I'm not sort of saying what's wrong, but that doesn't seem to be pointing towards anybody. It just seems to be pointing in the middle. But that is a push fit connection, so that works well for me. There we go, push that in. Oh, that's an awkward fit. There we go, that's gone in. I don't know if you heard that click, but that is in. So that is obviously for the captain to use, because this is going to be the captain's seat, this is going to be the driver's seat. Have I got that correct? I think I have. So you've got all the orders are coming through the computer for the captain to organise things. Obviously the driver only wants to focus on driving. That's speculation more than anything, but I don't think I'm a million miles out. Right, so the next thing we want to do is take our cab inside roof, and then if necessary apply a little PVA glue to the back of each light. Right, so we're applying the lights to there, so that's going to change things a little bit for me, mainly because I don't have any PVA glue. Now if we apply super glue, the fumes from the glue will make these cloud up, but I am going to use a different glue, because A, I don't have any PVA glue, and B, I think I can get away with using Plastic Magic. Now I don't want to go into massive detail about glues. Tamiya Extra Thin is a polystyrene cement, so it's designed for the kind of plastic that you get with plastic model kits. Tamiya also do an ABS glue, so this plastic we know is ABS, so that's good, but I don't know if ABS works on normal plastic, polystyrene type. Now I'm thinking of just putting a small dollop on the bottom there, and I know that Plastic Magic will work on both polystyrene, like styrene, and ABS. So I'm either going to be successful here, or I'm going to completely ruin my model. What I'm going to do, from the bottom, I'm going to put just a tiny drop, just a tiny weeny drop, and that has actually done the trick, and I don't think it's clouded it up. Another alternative, if you can see, the peg from the bottom protrudes further down. What I think we could also get away with, I'm just going through the motions, let's pretend this is my glue. If we just apply a little tiny bit of glue on the top there, let it sit for a minute or two, that will then soften that plastic. We can then get something hard, something flat and hard, pretend this is like a spoon or something. We could then push that down, and then that will widen. You know when you push things down like a rivet, I think that will push that out, and then that will hold that in by the fact that this bit is wider than the hole. But I think that's okay. Let's pop this one in. See, I don't think there's any difference between the two, so I think that was our answer. However, I've seen something I don't really like, and I didn't notice that, and it might be too late now to do this one. It's not too late. I've just spotted that these have come off a sprue somewhere along the lines, just on those edges. Don't know if you can see it. It's just a little bit like a sprue nub, and I really don't like it. So what I want to do is get some fine sandpaper. This will be perfect actually. Very, very fine. Whoops. That's, do you know what, thank you so much P40, I now owe you big time. I've just spilt my glue and it's gone all over the towel, and I would much rather it goes over the towel than anywhere else. However, I've now got it on my fingers, so I can't really touch this for a moment, because I don't want to melt it. So just make sure that's off my fingers. So my fingers are dry now, so what I just want to do, very smooth, just give that a little bit of a rub. That's not perfect. I'm trying not to actually rub the actual lens. I want to get it from the edge. I don't like that. If this doesn't bother you, then I would say leave it. It's only a small detail, but you know how sometimes when you get something and you're like, someone will say to you with your finished model, oh yeah, it's fantastic, and you go, yeah, I know, but I'm not happy with the lens, and it's far too late now to change it. So I've just given that a little bit of a, not much, but if we do a comparison between the two, as you see, that one's got one, and that one, it's now a little bit better. So, you know, it's just a case of how much attention to detail do you want to go through. And I'm quite happy to do this. Most people, I suspect, would be doing 1 or 2 issues a week. So, you know, you sit down for like an hour, you know, you've got plenty of time to do this. So try and find the one that, there we go, this one's got the glue on it. You know, I'm not actually 100% sure if that worked. So just a tiny bit, because this glue being thin, it works by capillary action, which means that there will be glue getting on the bottom of there. But that's definitely a little bit harder. I mean, PVA is a good glue to use, but it's not a permanent, it's not a strong bond. A lot of scale modelers will use it, because if you glue your canopy on with PVA glue, it can be knocked off and it's not disastrous then. So But yeah, they're definitely in. They'll need a bit of time to set, obviously because there's ABS as well, but Plastic Magic has worked very well on that. And what I'll do, yeah, that definitely has worked. It's not had time to fully cure, so I can still push that out with force, but I'm now having to give more force than before I actually applied any glue. So I think that's absolutely fine. So I've waffled on a bit there. Right, so next the wing mirrors will be fitted to the cab front doors as shown. However, they can easily get damaged during the build, so you may prefer to leave them off. Right, well in that case, I'm going to leave them off, but what I will do, I can see that this is the offside door. This is the cap. I think this is, yeah, this is the captain's door. So this is going to have this wing mirror. So we will just go through the motions. So that was how the window would look, or the mirror will look on. You see, I've only just put it in gently. So I'm going to take the option to fit it later, because as they say, it can get damaged. So yeah guys, so that is effectively stage 16 complete. Let's put this back in the bag, and then we can start looking at the next pack, which I'm going to give you a spoiler warning guys. One word, wow. This is the new pack. So that's not a major spoiler, I know, but yeah, wow is definitely the word for it, I think. Right, so stage, I've lost track of where I am. Stage 17. So stage 17 is the jump seat and front right left cluster. So let's sort through these bags. That's 18, so we'll need that next. 17. So not an awful lot to do by the looks of things in stage 17. But there seems to be a few parts, so I wonder if we're doing a little bit of part collecting. You know how sometimes part works do that. They give you quite a minimal build, but they give you more parts for the for what I'm going to call a sub-assembly box. So let's see what we've got. I've just had a panic because I thought my microphone wasn't on, but it is on, so that's not so bad. So the parts list is the light cluster PCB, and that is simply a plug and a little PCB board. For the untrained eye that looks rather boring. Obviously that's some kind of controller, because there's nothing, this doesn't go on to anything by the looks of it, but okay. But then when we start speculating things just by looking at them, you know we make huge mistakes. So this is the jump seat. So this looks like two seats that we've done before, but not like the driver's seat. I think this is going to be our third seat, isn't it? So next up, front, here we go, front right light cluster, and this looks quite beautiful actually. I mean, even from the back I think that looks rather nice, but if you turn it over it looks even nicer, and that looks big enough that we're going to get 3 LEDs in there, so that could be quite nice. Right, so next we have a seat support. Oh, this towel stinks from that glue. Oh, that was lucky, small part just fell out. Right, so we have a seat support. Doesn't look that interesting admittedly. And we have a windscreen wiper. I don't know why they're giving us that at the moment, because we haven't got any windscreens. Next up we're looking for a white part. These are all the small details that make this build look really nice. This is a floodlight, and what I might be tempted to do is to paint the inside of that silver. Come on. and then just flood some gloss varnish in there to make it look like a lens. Having said that, we don't know what's going to happen with that, but that is something you could do to liven that up. Next we have lots of pieces in one bag. So we have got a portable radio. Wow, that's really nice. That's nice, I like that. Then we have a flashlight. That's nice too. That's really nice. And then we have a portable radio charger. That's nice as well. Then we have, I'm not going to take this out of the bag, this is a small piece of orange clear metal acrylic. This is a turn signal lens right, and in here we have got 3 LED diffusers. I've got a feeling we're going to use that on those, we'll see. And then we've got 2 headlight lenses, and I don't want to take these parts out of the bag until we need them. I will apologize in advance, but I would rather not lose them. So then we've got 2 M-type screws. So M is a new screw for us. Never seen that screw before. I haven't got a box for it just yet, so I'm going to keep that in the bag. And then we have got 2 H screws, and we have got a box for the H's, so they can go in there. I noticed in the last issue we had 2 screws, but we didn't actually do anything with screws. So the first thing, as I was thinking, we've got to put the support onto the seat. Now this bit is actually raised, that's going to go into there like so. She says not being able to put it in. There we go, and that dry fit is perfect. Oh, I'm getting high on those glue fumes, you know. Right, so a little bit of glue. That's probably too much on that cocktail stick. You know, I do like to use plenty of glue, but not a big dollop. There we go. So I've actually got the writing on the piece of plastic, and that needs to go on the outside. It will also expose a small peg, which is obviously a locating peg. My experience from part works tells me. Right, there we go, that's on there, and give that a minute and that'll be absolutely fine. So next up we are going to be putting that jump seat into the cab. Now we're looking for the axe as a reference point, and that's going to be pointing towards the axe, and that will go in there like so, and that's a difficult fit. So I believe we've got the captain and the driver facing forwards, the next 2 guys are facing backwards, and then we'll have some people there. Is this a 6-man crew, if someone would know? So next we do actually need a screw. We need 1 H-type screw. So hopefully I've got the right screwdriver head in my screwdriver. It certainly looks like it. So from underneath we can see that the locating peg has gone in there, and then that hole in the middle there, there's a big circle there, that's where our H-type screw goes, and that is not lined up. There we go. Get your seat lined up properly, and that seat's just fallen out. That, now I'll come back to that in a minute. I'll explain why that happened, because I can see exactly what happened. Right, so this screw is going in nicely now that I've actually lined it up properly. So that's starting to stop. Right, I just want to tighten, I just want a little bit more on that. I might have the wrong screw head on. No, that's fine. So the reason this seat came out, and I remember this clearly, we didn't apply glue on this. That was such a tight fit. that I didn't think it would need it, but as I was putting this seat in, I just caught it, so I could see that I was actually wrong. But correct me if I'm wrong, on the day I said let's see how it goes without glue, and if it turns out we need some glue, we can always add. And now I know someone is now going back on the video where we made that seat and seeing what I said, but I'm pretty sure I didn't say don't worry about it, it'll be fine. I don't know where to put this glue. I'm looking for the points of contact. I think it's going to be there. Do you know, I didn't spot the manufacturer name on the seat on that one, and I think it's going to be on that side, if there even is one. So do you know what, guys, I might just have to just stop the video for a second. My cold that I've got is still got an effect on me. My nose is running like anything. I made a bit of a cock up there, just got a bit of glue squidge there, but what I can always do is just run some matte varnish over the top, and that will hide most of that up. Right, so guys, I'm just going to take a quick cut because my nose is driving me mad right now. So that's my nose sorted out. Of course, one good thing about just going to sort your nose out is you can make a cup of coffee as well, which I've just done. So I don't know if I sound better. Feel free to drop a comment if you think I sound better or worse. Right, so we have put that seat in, and then we've just done a little repair to that seat. So the next thing we want to do is just behind this monitor, we want to pop in this torch, and they're telling us align the D-shaped pin. I can see that it's going that way, on the flashlight with the hole in the center just to the rear of the MDT keyboard. If the pin won't fit, try to file off a bit of the excess paint. Now I can see that's going to be fiddly, so I'm going to be using my tweezers. As you can see, I've been using them for painting as well, but by using tweezers it just means that I can access it a bit better. So align the part to a good working position, and yeah, that's not going to go in easily, is it? So let's get a little bit of sandpaper. This is quite aggressive sandpaper. This is 180 grit, but it's going to do the job quicker, and it's not going to show because this pin is going to be going. I'll take it off the tweezers. In fact, I might even use, let's use an emery board. My trusty favourites are the emery boards. These are designed to do your fingernails with, but I use them for filing. They're cheap and they're disposable. Just use them a couple of times and throw them away if you need to. Right, that's a little bit smaller. It's always better to not file enough off than to file too much. Having said no, so I think we just need a little bit more off the sides. Good way to tell if you filed it, this is glossy paint, so even if you just scrape it just the once, if you can see that the paint, I've still got paint in places, but it's matte, so you won't see you know you've taken at least some of the paint off. And then what we'll do is we'll just, it feels like it wants to be a better fit, but it's not quite there. I don't want this to slip in too easily. See, I've taken quite a bit of paint off. But once I get down to the grey plastic underneath, I certainly don't want to go any further. If I can make this a push fit connection, all the better. There you go, that's gone in, and I don't think that's ever falling out by accident. So there it is in there. So that's obviously positioned for the captain to grab, because it's for the driver. Well, I don't know who would grab that. The driver could, because it looks like it's positioned to come in from that way, grab it and then shot in it. So maybe I'm just waffling a bit there. Okay, so next we want to attach the portable radio, and that's going to go in here. There's a gap there. So on the back of the radio is a little D-shaped D-shaped pin, and that's just going to go in like so. Nice and simple. If you think that's a little bit loose, I think mine's okay, but if it's a little bit loose, you could always just pop a little tiny bit of super glue on that. And then next we've got, using the axe as a point of reference, there should be a hole there, and this is going to be for the portable radio charger. And again, this has got a D-shaped pin, so it's going to go in this way, and that will just, oh, it's not wanting to push in. Certainly doesn't want to go in. Here we go. It needs a little bit of persuasion, but that's fine. And that is a tiny bit loose. So right, I'm going to just pop a little tiny bit of glue on there. I feel that's a tiny bit loose, so I just want to fix that down. I've just put a minimal amount of glue, and no glue squidge. Yeah, I think once that glue sets, I think that'll be okay, but it was a little bit loose. I wasn't 100% happy with it. Right, so, but it also says actually, so I've just looked at the next stage instructions. Push firmly to fit. You can glue this with super glue if necessary. So next up we need to assemble the front right light cluster. So I'm just going to pop that there on the fire truck, just out of the way. And we're going to take one of the LED diffusers, so that's these three in a bag, and I'm just going to pop. Now I don't know if you can see them that well, but I just about can. Now on the back we're going to pop one into there. I'm going to try and do it by hand, but the instructions do show the guy using a set of tweezers. This is the reason why I didn't want to use the tweezers. I knew you wouldn't be able to push that all the way in with the tweezers, but that's gone in now. I don't think that's going to do much, but can you see the light bulb in there, or the diffuser, unless there is a light coming in from behind. So then it says push the diffuser into position so that the domed side projects through the other side. Then we need to take the turn signal lens right and note the directional arrow. So it looks like we're not going to need these two now. So I'll pop those back in the bag because we don't want to lose them. So the turn signal, so yeah, see, that's actually pointing the wrong way. It should be pointing this way according to the magazine. Come on, do a bit of focus for me. There we go. So, and then what we need to do, we need to push that over the front. Now it's difficult to tell which, no it isn't, because these two at the bottom. So this turn signal is going to go into there, and I have placed this in a certain way so that I know which direction it's going, and that goes in there like that. So if I can get a close up, if I can just get a focus, that goes in like that. Okay, so next we want to place the next two diffusers in the bottom. So we'll get them back out of the bag. I didn't know we'd be using them again, so but it's always best to play safer, isn't it? So this one is going in there like that, and this one is a little bit trickier for some reason. No reason whatsoever. There we go, get the dome in. and then push that in. Oh, that don't want to go. Right, and there we go. So those two are in, and we're gonna, right, so next we have two light clusters. Take the front light cluster over so the front faces up and align a headlight lens over the projecting diffuser. So it doesn't look like these go any particular way, and yeah, we're going to push in the instructions. They're putting this one in first, so we'll do that one first. And yeah, those pegs are the same size on both. There you go, that's one lens in, and then this is the second. Do you know, I had a feeling we were going to end up with lots of leftover parts that was going to go in the sub-assembly box, but it really doesn't look like that now, does it? There we go. So I wonder if there is going to be some kind of light coming from behind. Oh, I don't know. Ah, there we go. So the next stage is we want, with the reverse side of the front light cluster facing up, line up the light cluster PCB so that the U-shaped cutout is in line with a single pin there. Now that means it needs to go this way. Now according to the picture, you should be able to read the colours. Can you see green, black, red and yellow? If you turn it over, you can't, it looks different. So I believe it's got to go this way, and that's just going to sit on there like so, and I suspect there's going to be a screw going in there. Right, so next we need a type M screw, which is our new screw. So we only want the one. It looks like maybe we've got a spare. Now this is going to be slightly awkward. You get this cocktail stick. So the screw is going to go through there, but you can see that black wire is in the way. So I need to push this wire to one side, but I don't want to push it so much that the wire breaks. I think that will be okay. I'm really struggling with the focus. I think that will be fine. So let's load our screw up first. I love this screwdriver because it's got the flat bottom. So I can get the screwdriver loaded up, place it on the table. You see how it's on its back. Then I can focus on lining this up. There it is, lined up, held down with my thumb. Now I can focus on the screw. Now I just want to screw a couple of times. I want to make sure I'm not trapping that black wire. Oops. So it's now looking to me like perhaps there's three tiny LEDs in there. I forget what they're called. Are they called SMDs or something? Small micro diodes. This is slightly out of my electronics league, I'm afraid. But yeah, that looks good. So I'm not screwing too hard because this is a fragile PCB, but I'm making sure it's in firm. So once it's in firm, that's it. So that is that piece done, and that's rather nice. So I'm looking forward to that one working. See if it does do anything. So that is stage complete, and we are left with two pieces, which is this light and a windscreen wiper. And I'm going to reserve judgment on this because I don't think there's going to be anything going in there which would make me slightly unhappy. So I would want to mod that, but I'm not going to mod it until I know what's happening with it. So these two spare parts I'm going to put in the bag, and then we'll keep those there in case we use them in the next stage. I've got a feeling they won't be because there's no windscreen for a start. So on to stage 18. There's a few little parts that I can see we're not going to do anything that we've never done before, and I am now concerned at this door. I have a feeling this door is bent. It is quite a full box this month, and so my spidey sense is on alert. Can you see how that's bent there? So I'll see if I can salvage this, but I'm very happy that I've opened this on camera, because then if I need to replace it, I can then say to Agora, yeah, that's broken. But it's quite an even bend, and do you know what, I might need to take all of that back, because I think it is actually meant to be like that. Right, so I have a feeling I might have just lost. No, I haven't. Oh, I was a bit worried about that cog. So the parts that we have for stage 18, stage 18 is the front left cab door and crew seat, and we have got the outer door panel, and I think I can be forgiven for thinking that was bent in transit, but I think that's going to be okay. So next we have got inner cab panel, which is this piece here. Looks metal, painted up as though it's metal, but it's actually plastic. Next up we've got the inner door panel. Oops, little cog just fell out there. This is actually I'm really glad I've gone for purple, because it just seems to show all the bits really well. So this is the inner door panel, and this does do a good job in mimicking metal. It's just a good paint, really. Then we've got the outer door handle, and we know exactly what's going to happen here, don't we, guys? Next we've got, oh, the window winder. Oh, no, that's the window winder. Sorry, that's the outer door handle. And this is the window winder. And then we have a gear, and we've got a seat, and we've got the seat support. I'll show you those when we come to do it. I think that'll be just as easy. So oh, I thought we were going to do the door first, but we're going to do the seat first. So I said I'll show you when we come to do it, but I'm going to show you now. Right, so we have got the seat, and then we've got the seat support. That's going to go in there like so, and that will be seat, I believe, number 5. I'm pretty sure we've got another seat done already. So that's going to go in like that. That doesn't want to go. That really does not want to live in there. I think you've really got to get it on straight. If it's angled just slightly, it doesn't want to go. Wow. And of course this is only the dry fit. This is, I've got to do this again with glue. I don't think that's going to go, you know. I think it's this bit. I don't think that's going to go in. Yeah, that's not fitting. Right, let's get a little bit of a let's get my I forget what this is called, but it's like a kind of a filing pen. Make sure I'm filing the right side down. Do you know what? Now it wants to fit. Right, okay. Right, I'm going to take a bit of a gamble, because we're going to be gluing this. I don't think it's going to matter if these pegs were there or not. Just those pegs are there to guide us. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a piece of the peg off. Now, I know some of you are saying what you're doing is dangerous by cutting towards you. This particular knife, I found a way to cut very safely. If you cut with the bottom of the blade, or position your thumb as down as you can, if you should slip, can you see how the bottom of the knife hits my thumb. Oh sorry, I was too high there. So look, although I'm cutting towards me, can you see where the bottom of the knife is? So if I should slip, it's not going to cut me. So if anybody of you are concerned for my welfare, you don't need to. It's all about giving yourself, at worst I might get a tiny cut from this bit, but you also know that I'm not going to show any horrible things on my channel, so if an accident did happen, I would definitely edit it out. Right, so there we go, that's a nice fit. I think it was just maybe had a little bit of flash on it, but that's certainly done the job. Right, so now we've got to do that all over again, but this time with glue. So a little squidge of glue, take the support off but keep it in the way that we want it, and I'm going to put the glue on the actual support, I think. Right, and I can see that is way too thick, but that's fine. That's the great thing about cocktail sticks. See that I'm now scraping off the excess, and I wonder if, oh, that's actually eating into the plastic. Look, that's interesting. So peg is behind at the back of the seat. That goes on like so. Excellent. Really happy with that. Very, very happy. Right, so that's our next seat, and I've got just a tiny bit of glue squidge on the side. Right, so that's going onto the fire engine, and our reference point this time is our little crowbar and bits, and that's going to go onto there. Now you can see that there's tabs in there. That's shaped, so there's only one way it can go in. You cannot possibly put that the long way round. And what we want to do now is get an H-type screw. So these screws that we weren't sure if we were actually going to use them, we put them in the tubs. We now know we are using them. So screw ready, holding the top of the seat, coming from underneath. See the screw hole there? That's going to go in. Tighten that up. Nice, nice, very nice. But I can get a little bit more on there. There's just ever so slight wobble. There we go. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm just going to satisfy my curiosity now. I cannot remember if we did 4 seats. I'm sure we did. But it looks like we didn't. Oh! We've only done... oh, we did! I knew we had another seat. And I've just got a funny feeling. I'm not looking ahead on the instructions, but I've just got a funny feeling that's going in as well. No, it's not. That's interesting. So why have we not put this seat in then? It's obvious it's going to go in there now. It's even obvious what type of screw we're going to use to screw it in. So yeah, that strikes me as a bit odd. But okay, that's fine. So it looks like it is a 6-man cab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But the next part we're going to be working on is the door, so I'll put that back onto the engine. Do you know what? No, I've scrolled back too far. Right, so the next stage that we want to do is take the inner door panel, and we want to take our window winder, sorry, and you know exactly how this is going to go because we've done 3 or 4 of these before, and that is a fairly difficult thing to put in. Always push on that base there, don't push there because it's going to snap off. And you can see that's poking through very nicely. And next up we've got our cog, and we're going to put that on like so. They're using tweezers on this. To be honest with you, I'm finding it just as easy to use my fingers. The hard bit is the fact that that is a square peg and this is a square hole. So if you don't line that hole up exactly right, it's not going in, and that will kind of click. There we go. I can see that the handle wasn't pushed in all the way, so therefore the cog didn't go on straight. And there we go, that's on properly now. So you can see as I turn the handle, it does rotate the cog, so we know that's okay. So next I'm actually going to check this window, because as you know I had a problem with one of the windows, and I think that's actually not too bad. Not too bad at all. So I'm going to do a dry, it's asking us to pop glue in there, there, there and there. I'm going to do a dry fit first, because it is the window that I'm concerned about. Oh, that's really nice. That's very nice. Very, and I hadn't even got the door frame in enough, look. It's got to go all the way in, and it was still working fine. Right, so now I've got the wonderful task of trying to remove this door frame, which is easy enough to do. So next I have to make sure that my glue is good. As you know, I do struggle with this super glue gel, in the sense that I think it's made up of two different components, and it's only when those components are mixed that does this glue actually stick very well. So I do have to squeeze some glue out onto plastic, and what you'll always notice is I always use the glue from the last bit that came out of the bottle, not the first. That stuck itself down. So I use this glue there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pop plenty of glue in there, not so much that it's more glue than there is peg, but we do want to make sure that it's going to be touching both the sides and the peg, so we make sure that there's enough in there. I would suggest possibly enough glue to put, maybe fill a third or a half, so that when the peg goes in it gives it room to squeeze. Right, so line up one peg, line up the next two, push it in nice and firmly, and that's gone in very nicely. Window's working beautifully. Look at that. That's probably might be the best door I've got so far. But that's not the captain's door, is it? I bet it is actually. No, it's the driver's door, because that's going to come around the front, isn't it, as it opens? Oh, I think. Right, so next up we have got, we need to fit the front left cab door and crew set. We need to take the inner cab panel, and we need to position it downwards. And what we're going to do is we're going to be applying glue to this part, and then we need to glue that on from underneath, and there we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lugs, and that's going to line up with these 4 holes there. And there is actually a little bit of damage to this, but not as I originally thought. This top bit is a little bit bent, whereas I thought the damage was there, but it's actually there. It's not a problem, because that can just be bent back in place, and now that is a beautiful fit, to the point that I may not even need super glue. Have I said this before? Yeah, I think I will use super glue, and I think I will apply the super glue to the metal, not to the plastic as they suggest, especially as it's important that we don't put glue there. So a bit more glue, because I haven't got enough to do the job there. And what I'm aiming for is an H shape, so I'm going to come down between those 2 holes, down between those 2 holes, and then across there. So a little bit too much there, but I can always spread that about. I'm not going close to the hole, telling us to avoid that hole, so I am completely avoiding it. And then I'll just put a little bit in the holes, not too much, just enough just to catch those pegs when they go in, and I think that will be perfect. I just got my right, I want to hold this because I don't want this to swing round and hit the inside of the door. There we go, perfect, absolutely perfect, no squeeze out, nothing. Perfect. And that is not coming off, that is instant bond. Very happy with that. Right, so last we've got our door handle. Now I think the door handle goes this way, but I am going to do a double check. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I do believe these door handles are the right way round, but if I have got them the wrong way round, at least they're consistent. So there's a little dot there like a keyhole, that needs to be at the bottom. I don't think you can get these the wrong way because this, I noticed that this has got a shaped hole. Whoops. Yeah, that's gone in and it comes out just as easily. So little bit of glue. Does it actually say to use glue? Just says, but having said that, I just pushed that in and it did pop out. So I suspect it's like anything else. Yeah, that comes out a little bit too easy. In fact, that's just come out so easy I nearly lost it. In fact, I did. There you go. I nearly lost it again. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on there. I just think that's popping out a little bit too easily. Did I apply glue on the other locks? Do you know, I cannot remember. There we go. So again, that's in and all my locks are looking consistent now. And that is the stage complete. So this is what we've got since the last video. We've got an extra door. We've got this door actually. No, we've got this door. Oh, this just happens to be the one from before. We've got a light cluster to go on the front. Got a couple of spare parts, and we've got a couple of screws. Haven't used these 8 screws yet. So just to go back over what I said, this light here, it's obvious it's not going to light up, and I don't know if they're going to do anything with that. But I am severely tempted to just pop a little bit of silver paint in there and then just put some gloss varnish in there, and then that will look like it's got a lens cover on it. It'll look really nice, but I'm just going to wait a little bit and see what they do. So guys, that is it from me for this issue. The next video I'm going to do is 19, 20 and 21, and now that is the components for the dashboard and roof, and that looks like there's going to be quite a lot to do. In fact, that is actually this pack, this issue here. This is 20, no, that's 21. So 19 components for the dashboard and roof. Stage 20 is a lot to do actually. 20 is the jump seat, cab equipment and front left light cluster. And then issue 21, stage 21, is the main cab body and details, installing the rear cab doors and cab roof, which is this part here, and I'm guessing that's metal because that is rather heavy. So guys, I'm going to be honest with you, I've mucked my planning up. This is supposed to be issue 16, 17, 18, which it is, but then for the next pack I put 18, 19, 20. Now obviously we've just done stage 18, so I'm guessing I meant 19, 20, 21. I just hope that doesn't mean I've done too much in one stage, but anyway, that's what we've done in these stages. So more little sub assemblies to put away and bag up. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed making it, and I will catch you in the next video. So look after yourself guys, take care, bye bye.